Hello everyone, my name is Dick Wyn, and in this channel I talk about tech, food and lifestyle. Over the past few days, I've been talking about my journey in learning programming and computer science, so I thought today would be a good time to talk about what computer science track that I'm focusing on right now in my career as a software engineer. And as you might have read from the title of this video, I've chosen the path of front-end development, and in this video I'll talk about why I enjoy doing it. But before I get on with that, if you're new here, like and subscribe. This video is part of my video series for Computer Science Education Week 2020, the week dedicated to raising awareness of computer science education. I'll leave a link down in the video description below for the complete playlist of videos so you can check them out after this. First up, what is front-end development? Well, as the name suggests, front-end development has to do with the front-end or the user interface and also the user experience of an application. Front-end development can include developing applications for platforms like Windows, Linux, macOS, Android, and iOS, but today I'm specifically going to focus on front-end development for the web, meaning things like news websites, online data dashboards, and also interactive websites for banking or e-commerce sites. And you might be thinking, what's so complex about developing applications for the web? On the surface, front-end development for the web looks easy enough, and in fact, front-end development today is seen as sort of a gateway drug into programming because the basic concepts are pretty simple. Anyone using the internet will be pretty familiar with how a website or an application on a browser would work. At its core, front-end development is just combining HTML markup with some CSS styling and dashing in some JavaScript to handle some of the interactions of the application. But like a lot of things in the computer science world, front-end development is harder than it looks. Sure, putting together a simple website that has some headings, paragraphs, images, and some buttons is pretty straightforward to do. But when you start getting into more complex applications like a COVID-19 cases dashboard, or an e-commerce website, it's not as simple as marking up some HTML and CSS code. Things like animations, web accessibility, search engine optimization, cross-platform compatibility, screen scalability, security, and performance, just to name a few things, they are all part of front-end development. Adding to that, a lot of web applications that exist today are honestly just there to make money. For example, a site like YouTube uses ads to generate revenue, or the Apple website which uses graphics and animations to market and sell Apple products. What this means is that you can build up a robust backend system that is both fast and efficient, but if you don't have a good user interface, people can choose not to use your website, and that could lead to a product failure. So having a good balance between front-end and back-end development work is essential for a successful web application. Now that I've talked about some complexities in front-end development for the web, I'm going to switch gears to talk about how I got into front-end development. As I mentioned in my How I Started Programming video, after my failed attempt to develop an autonomous algorithm for a model race car, I transitioned to web and mobile development where I started learning AngularJS, Windows app development, and Android app development. During my computer science degree, I didn't learn much about front-end development as there wasn't any courses that was directly related to the topic. The closest was a human-computer interaction course that I took during my senior year. However, my capstone project for my degree was to build a full-stack application, and I was essentially learning all the necessary technologies for that project on the fly. And yeah, that's basically how I got into front-end development. And to be honest, I'm still not sure if front-end development is something that I want to do for my entire career. It is something that I enjoy doing right now, but I don't know if I feel the same thing after a decade or two of doing it. But that's a whole other topic for another video. For the rest of this video, I'm going to focus on why front-end development is so exciting to me. The first thing is that with front-end development, there isn't much focus on complex data structures and algorithms like using linked lists or implementing a binary search tree. I'm not saying that data structures and algorithms are not used in front-end development. Algorithms that pertain to array operations or graph traversal algorithms like depth-first search are commonly used in the front end. But the fact is that front-end development, in my opinion, has more emphasis towards managing the various moving parts in an application. Things like managing asynchronous data, retaining state between parts of the application, and just gracefully handling errors that might occur is more important when doing front-end development. So that means that I can still stretch my problem-solving skills without needing to focus too much on the implementation details of something like a doubly linked list in JavaScript. Adding to that, with front-end development, while part of the work is to build the interactions and user interface of an application, the other major part of it has to do with crafting an experience for the end user. That experience includes managing the usability of a feature or taking into account accessibility guidelines so that the application is inclusive towards all users. For me personally, I didn't really know about that when I was learning front-end development for my side projects. I only started to realize it when I was working on projects that were developed for use with a large pool of users, where the first question that comes up when a new feature discussion happens is not how can we build this feature, but rather should we build this feature? And through that, I've increased my empathy while writing code, as I understand that the code that I'm writing will influence the perception of a user towards something. Furthermore, another exciting thing about front-end development for me is that I get to work with advancements in the consumer technology space. Because the web is basically the biggest platform in the world with over 4.5 billion people using it, naturally, front-end development has to keep up with the advancements and trends that are rolling out to the consumer population, like foldable screen devices, increases in CPU performance, or the rollout of 5G networks. Like the other day, I was reading up on this new web API that Microsoft developed for dual screen devices and foldable devices that enabled developers to access information about a dual screen device's physical hardware trait, like how it folds. The example that was described in the blog post was a mail application that enhanced the reader view of an email client to take advantage of a second display. That prompted me to think about the kinds of experience that could be developed to make a web application or website more immersive for the end user on these kind of new kind of form factor devices like dual screens and foldable devices. And apart from that, I just really enjoy working with CSS, which is a style sheet language that is used to describe how HTML elements are displayed on a page. I know that some people really hate working with CSS because in some ways CSS is kind of fragile because of the varying effects on different browser versions that CSS has. And also, the cascading nature of CSS can cause some pretty interesting bugs. I like CSS so much that I used to have this coworker that would redirect any CSS related bugs to me just because I love CSS so much. And I would gladly accept those bugs with open arms because they were just so fun to work with. For me, I see CSS as a way to leverage my creativity. One of my interests outside of programming is to do design work, and CSS allows me to express that designer Dick Wyn inside of me. And to a certain degree, CSS is actually one of the most important things about front-end development because at the end of the day, the client or project manager won't care too much about how efficient or how good the underlying code is written as long as it works, but they will certainly care about how the application looks like. So if text is misaligned or a gradient for a mobile header doesn't look too good on a mobile device, they will certainly call it out for it to be fixed. Overall, front-end development is more subjective as it has to do with people's perception of a feature compared to doing something like back-end development, where the code is mainly designed for computers to interact with each other. I like front-end development because I like the visual nature of it. It's something that provides me with instant visual feedback as I write the code. And lastly, as I described earlier, front-end development has a certain degree of complexity which fits in well with my appetite for logical problem solving. Let me know down in the comment section below, what are your thoughts on front-end development? Do you agree on my points about why front-end development is more complex than it looks? I'm interested in hearing about your thoughts on that. And yeah, that is all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it and found this video useful or somewhat entertaining. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and smash the subscribe button and bell icon so you don't miss out on the very last video that I have in store for my 2020 Computer Science Education Week series. And as always, everyone stay safe and stay at home. Happy holidays, and I will catch you in the next video.